Well, you can see that it's another beautiful day here in southwestern Colorado. Sun shining and everything. But I thought, in keeping with my recent theme of telling a few stories for video since we aren't traveling, that I would tell a story about my experience, and I've got a few stories, my experiences in the oil patch. That was my first job out of college. I was hired by a division of Dow Chemical, and they wanted to make me an engineer. So it was a training program, and I have my degrees in math, geology, and or math or science and secondary education. So I was a pretty good fit for what they wanted, and I got sent off to North Dakota in the Williston Basin, Dickinson, North Dakota, and it was booming, right? Well, when you start out in the oil patch, you're a worm. You're a wormy mofo, so to speak. And the regular guys, the regular crew members and supervisors kind of resented us college guys because they had to train us. They're out there with these worms on their crew suddenly. Fortunately for me, I had spent some time on a portable drilling rig the summer before, and so I knew more than most people coming in. I knew the terminology. They couldn't pull the usual tricks on me that they did on the other guys. And once you worked hard enough, they respected you, and everything worked out. But I don't blame them for having some resentment. One thing, they thought we got paid more, and yes, we did. We did get paid more at our base pay, but we were salary, and they worked us to death. They worked all of us to death, But the hourly guys, they got paid overtime, and they were making a fortune. But it's the oil patch is a very dangerous place, especially if you're a worm, and you got to be really careful. So, in keeping with them working us to death, me and another guy, a guy by the name of Steve Walsley, he was hilarious, best sense of humor. We called him Balls to the Walsley, and really enjoyed that guy. But he was a business major, and Dow Chemical hired two types of people, the engineering types to become district engineers, and then they wanted business people who could be salespeople and service supervisors and that kind of thing. So it was we were on little different tracks, but we had to start out, first 6 months, you had to be an equipment operator. So off we went, truck driving school and all that stuff. So in North Dakota, the Badlands are where they're doing a lot of this drilling, and it's just clay. So in the wintertime, it's fine because it's frozen solid, and you have to chain your trucks up and stuff, but it's not bad. In the summertime, it's dried out, and it's not too bad in the summertime usually. When it melts, it's just a snotty mess. You can't make it to the rigs. You still have to go. You drive until you get stuck, and then a caterpillar comes and drags your ass the next 3 miles to the well. You do your work, they drag you back out to where you can drive again, and away you go. So anyway, so Steve and I, it's a few hours before we're supposed to have 2 days off. And man, these days off, when you're working that hard, these days off, man, they are important, So the service manager calls us in, and he wants us to haul cement to Pennzoil or Quaker State location. One of them's really, truly an oil company. I can't remember which one. So I think it was Quaker State. So we have to haul loads of cement out to this well that they're gonna set a long string of casing. The well's gonna be turned into an oil well. They cement pipe into it, and our company did that. So he wants us to haul a load of cement out there, each of us, because he thinks we can get back in by midnight when our official days off start. So fortunately it's fairly warm, and it's later in the springtime, and it's actually a beautiful evening, and it's like, okay, we'll do it. I couldn't refuse. Neither one of us had. It's like, okay, fine. What do you do? So we're each in our semi, each one of us with a full load of cement. Off we go, and you turn off of the highway onto, basically what amounts to a clay road. carved out in the Badlands. We start driving, and you can see thunderheads coming towards us, and it's beautiful, but he and I know what's coming, man. We're driving as fast as we can because we want to get to that well before all hell breaks loose. Well, we didn't make it. Thunderstorm erupted, and we drove our semis as far as we possibly could until we were stuck. And that means you have to chain up. And putting chains on a semi is an incredible ordeal once you're already stuck. And it's even worse when it's mud instead of snow. So we get chained up. We're covered head to foot in this clay gumbo. And we make it to the well. So Steve says, go ahead, unload your truck first. So I back up to the silo. You store cement in these silos. And I blow my cement off into the silo and get my truck out of the way. So then Steve goes to unload, and now he's got this massive migraine because of all this stress. So Steve goes to unload, and it's getting dark now, and these rig locations aren't all that well lit. And he gets his truck stuck. So I tell him, okay, I'll try and get it unstuck because he hadn't been able to unload his cement yet. And he's not feeling well, and so I tell him, just go get in my truck. I'll get your truck unstuck, and we'll get out of here. So I try and get his truck unstuck with chains on, even still, and everything. I end up, I almost had it. It was going up over the hump, and then it'd go back down in. I was really close to getting it unstuck. And it's hard to do in a semi because of the way shifting works. It's different. But anyway, I finally had to give up, and I walked out to go get in my truck and see how Steve's doing, and I get behind his truck and I trip over something, and it's Steve. He passed out in the mud directly behind that trailer. If I had gotten his truck unstuck, I would have killed him. Would have crushed him. And to this day, I think back on that and think, oh my God. That would have been, awful, awful. Anyway, Steve went on. He went back to South Dakota and became a preacher after his oil patch days. And I can picture him being really good at it with his sense of humor. But unfortunately, he has passed on. I don't remember what happened to him, but I'm sure that he is missed. Anyway, take care.